I talking to it so long I forget to put on live first.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to get
I
started.
talking to mother-in-law. 24/6.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Monique Mitchell, your host for this evening's meeting. I just want to say welcome to everyone. I want to make sure, we hope that you had a good day and that you had also a productive day. We're going to ask persons who are on the call to mute their mics so that we can all hear and we can all participate. There will also be an opportunity for you to ask questions either by putting it in the chat or by opening your mic. We want to ask persons to mute themselves. Okay. So welcome to our meeting tonight. We hope that you've had a good day and that you had a productive day. We're sure that this seminar tonight will provide you with the information that you need to have a more healthy and happy 2024. We just want to thank you for joining us for Feet4Life, our Diabetic Foot Online Resource Center. And as usual, we have an exciting meeting plan for you. Our topic tonight is your lifestyle and your legs, and of course, your feet. I know that you will receive a lot of information on how to improve your overall health, as well as how to prevent and better manage your diabetes. Please remember to mute your mics and put your questions in the chat. We will answer them after our presentation. Our YouTube channel is up and running. It's called Feet, F-E-E-T, with the number 4, L-I-F-E 242. It's up and running, and you can go there and watch all of the previous videos that were completed. We also ask that you would share it with your friends and family, ask them to like and subscribe to our channel so that we can get a wider reach. The videos are also uploaded to our website, and that is www.familyfootcenter, spelled CENTRE.com. So you can also watch the videos there. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and we welcome each and every one of you. We would love for you to put in the chat exactly where you are coming from so that we know who is visiting with us tonight. We usually have persons from around the Bahamas, as well as the Caribbean, America, and Canada. So please let us know where you're joining from so that we are able to welcome you in a special way. But we're going to get started. And right now, we're going to begin with a short devotion and prayer by Elder Lyndon Gardner from the Pargate Seventh-day Adventist Church. Elder Gardner, you can unmute and go ahead. Welcome,
Janet. Good evening. Welcome. It's a great privilege to be here. And before we start, we could just have a short word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks, Lord, that you have given us strength. You have given us the ability, Lord, to know what is right from wrong. And we ask, Lord, that you'll give us the wisdom to take care of our bodies. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Good evening, everyone. I have 3 to 5 minutes. I'm thinking about to work it out in 3 minutes here. You know, the famous text that everyone uses when it comes to health, it's 3 John 1 and 2, that I wish above all things that you will prosper and be in health. And, you know, it's interesting, you know, why did God say that he wished that we would prosper and be in health? You know, in order to be prosperous, there are a lot of people who are prosperous in this world, but they are not the best in health. I think about a gentleman who died a couple of years, Steve Jobs. He was a technician and he was at a major milestone in his life, but his health.
Yeah.
And
The guy came and collected the thing.
Huh?
A guy just came and collected.
Hello. Yes. Steve Jobs was at the trust hold of his life with tech giant and everything, but his health failed him. Now again, God has given us the opportunity. If the question was asked to you or I, what do you want? Do you want to extend 20 years or 30 years to your life? Or a promise, not a promissory note, or a manager check for $1 billion? I guess the majority of us will say, we'll let's don't worry about the 20 years. Let's take the $1 million. But you see, with God, if we are healthy, then technically speaking, put away the doctors. But because our lifestyle and because the result of sin and everything that happened, our lifestyle is totally turned around. Let's take a look at the beginning, what God said to man. He placed him in the garden and he provided the green nuts, fruits, and everything. Adam and Eve were in perfect harmony. Their body and everything were in perfect movement and everything. Adam could have run up and down, and when he relaxes, his body goes into complete rest. This is what God is saying to us tonight, my beloved friends, that he wants us to prosper. But if we prosper, he wants us to be healthy. And if you're not healthy, you cannot prosper. I spoke to a friend a few months ago, and the person told me that they had spent over $100,000. $100,000, basically all of their savings, on health. So why don't we, just follow the simple, basic things of exercising, drinking water, getting enough rest and everything. These are the things that, because of our lifestyle, our sedentary work and everything, we don't get to do. But we have to put God first in everything we do. So my beloved friends, I am encouraging you to take the initiative, take the bold step. We make resolution every year, but to take that step, to put God first, to get some extra exercise, drink a little bit more water, not 8 cups. I know one of my friends say he drinks a gallon, but not 8 cups. Drink a little bit more. And the challenges of trying to get to bed on time, and to eat more fruits, grains, nuts, and these things that God has placed in our reach. So let us take advantage of it, and let us ask God to give us the special unction to function. But I thank you very much for being a part of this program, and I'll turn it back over to Sister Mitchell.
Thank you, Elder Gardner. That was a very motivating devotion. So we're very thankful to you for coming by. And I know you had to work hard to get into the meeting tonight. So thank you so much for bringing us those devotional word and bringing it right from the beginning, from Adam and Eve. So thank you very much. Now we're going to move on to our next segment of our meeting, is called our among diabetics. We're going to do our introduction. Among diabetics, we know that foot complications are some of the most common and the most costly and the most feared. So we know I'm having a little technical difficulty with my earphones, so I took them out. So just make sure, let me know that you can hear. So I'm having a little challenge with that, as you can see. So, but bear with us, we're going to get it sorted out. So we know with diabetics, every single second count. Every 1.2 seconds, someone develops a foot ulcer. Every 7 seconds, someone dies from diabetes. And every 20 seconds, someone gets an amputation as a result of diabetes. Here in the Bahamas, we have also noticed that we have seen increases in our numbers of persons with diabetes as well as persons with complications. And so we did not want to sit by and let this happen. We wanted to do something about it. So a team of us got together and we decided to begin a online, well, we began face-to-face, but now we're online, Diabetic Foot Resource Center. And we seek here to increase awareness, education, and skills so that persons would be able to better manage their diabetes, prevent it, and actually for caregivers to be able to help persons who have diabetes as well. We are convinced that working together, that is the only way we can save lives, save limbs, and prevent amputations. We understand that only by doing that, working together, we can see persons with diabetes have their feet for life. Now, we are going to move into our next segment, which is Take Control Minute. Here, we want to encourage persons to not only, as this program focuses a lot on the lower extremity and the feet, you want to encourage persons to know that it is the total body or the total person. You have to control your diabetes, not only by prevent amputation, not only by looking at the feet, but ensuring that your diabetes is under control. And so our topic tonight is actually looking at a lifestyle and your legs. The feet didn't it didn't ring so much with feet. So we decided to do legs. So living a sedentary lifestyle is very dangerous for your health. And I know a lot of us know what that is. A sedentary lifestyle is one of inactive, is an inactive lifestyle where you're sitting for long periods or lying about and not exercising, sitting in front of the TV with the remote in the hand and spending most of your time either on the computer or some other device rather than being outside and being active. So we know as when we grew up, or when the older persons on the call grew up, we were mostly outside and being active, running around and playing. But nowadays, a lot of the young people, they are mostly indoors. And back in the day, we would call those persons who are mostly sitting around couch potatoes. So now the young people don't even know, a lot of them don't know what that is, but that's when you sit for long periods. The World Health Organization has also described sitting as the new smoking. Smoking is also very detrimental to your health. And so if that connection is made for smoking and sitting, then you know that that is also a difficult situation. We're going to ask persons to mute their mics, please. Leonie's, Tesoro, Jennifer, Cindy, you can mute your mics for us, please. Muting them and they keep opening. Okay, we're gonna have to get a sergeant of arms who's gonna watch the mics. Okay, so we're gonna continue. Sorry, I lost my train. Okay, so we see that here in the Bahamas, we also have a challenge with sedentary lifestyle. According to the 2019 STEP survey, 30.2% of Bahamians do not get adequate amounts of physical activity. And in fact, almost 60% of us do not get enough vigorous activity. 23.7 or 4 hours of our waking day while we're awake or working is spent in sedentary activities. So that's a lot of sitting around. Now, why is that important? Why is that important? The World Health Organization states that because of sedentary behaviors or just not being physically active, this type of behavior is associated with poor health outcomes. This is a result of increased numbers of heart disease, cancers, and type 2 diabetes. So regardless of where you're coming from tonight, you may also have a lot of those conditions in your country like we do in ours. So not only does the sedentary lifestyle lead to diseases, but it also leads to increase in death. So persons can die as well earlier because of a sedentary lifestyle. and that is from all causes, whether that's heart disease, cancer, diabetes, any one of them. So we can actually see that persons are dying earlier because of a sedentary lifestyle. Now, we know lifestyle change is not easy. So we are very excited to have our speaker tonight. But before she comes, I will introduce her in a minute. We are going to watch a video actually by our speaker as well. And it is going to give us a good example of how we can jumpstart our lifestyle change. And then we will bring on our speaker. So I am going to share a video.
Hello again. Welcome to our journey to healthy you. This week, you are ready for an adventure, a 4-day cleansing diet. Tomorrow is your preparation day. Diabetics, you need to consult with a dietitian.
Hold on, I'm going to start it again.
Hello again. Welcome to our journey to healthy you. This week, you are ready for an adventure, a 4-day cleansing diet. Tomorrow is your preparation day. Diabetics may need to consult with a dietitian before doing.
Just saying, go over there, play the video. Hello, sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. So I'm gonna just introduce our speaker and then we'll play the video afterwards because we're having some technical difficulties on my computer. So I'm on another computer. So we're gonna just introduce our speaker and move into our presentation, and then hopefully we'll be able to play the video at the end. Our speaker this evening is Dr. Idamae Hanna, who holds a Doctor of Naturopathic Medicine from the Southern Graduate Institute of Naturopathic Medicine in Kentucky. She also holds a master's degree from Loma Linda University in Public Health, in Health Education and Promotion. She also has a bachelor's degree in Social Work and Nutrition, and she's a registered dietitian nutritionist with the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics in the United States. And she's also a certified diabetes educator. She also holds certification from UG Pines Lifestyle Institute as a lifestyle counselor. Dr. Hanna is currently the manager of Better Living Health Center in Delhi, where they provide wellness programs and diet counseling for various chronic diseases. Its mission is to help persons sponsor the popular help persons improve their health and quality of life. The center also sponsors the popular 8 Weeks to Wellness Community Action Program that has received the national and international recognition. She served as the Health Ministries Director for the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists from 2007 to 2014. And I can tell you from the time I met her, she has always been a health enthusiast and also an excellent example of the message that she preaches. So help me welcome our speaker, Dr. Idamae Hanna, and we will show the video after she speaks. Dr. Hanna?
Yes, I want to say thank you very much, Monique, for inviting me on this platform. It's always a wonderful thing to be able to share with people. I do want to share my screen at this time, so let me just go to that. And let me see if you will tell me whether you can see my screen in a second. Let me just get it up. And from the beginning. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can see my screen. Okay, we're going to be talking about lifestyle medicine, and we're going to be focusing on simple solution for preventing diabetes. And those who have diabetes, this will also be able to help you to manage your diabetes and take care of those feet that you're trying to get in wellness too. Because a person with diabetes or a person who is not eating the way they should is always going to impact those limbs. So let's get going so that you would learn as much as you can, and so that we'll all benefit. Okay, diabetes. You probably know this information, but I need to just go through this just in case there are some of you who don't know this. Diabetes is the #1 cause of blindness in our country. It is also the greatest cause of amputation. That's your leg. Diabetes damages the kidney and leads to end-stage renal failure. A whole lot of people who are on dialysis today were diabetics or still are diabetics. Diabetes and high blood pressure are the pushers of kidney failure. And the risk of heart disease is increased 10 times from diabetes. Virtually every organ in the body is slowly damaged by diabetes. So you can see how powerful it is to be able to manage and prevent this disease. There are 2 major types of diabetics. Just a minute, let me just, okay. There are 2 major types of diabetics. There's type 1 and there's type 2. Type 1 or insulin-dependent diabetics are people who are usually young, but there are some that are older these days, whose pancreas stop producing insulin. These people, in order to live, they have to get insulin to get the blood sugar into the cells. Because see, insulin is the vehicle that puts the blood sugar from out that has been digested and that's in the bloodstream. Insulin is the vehicle that puts it in the cells of our bodies. If we don't get that blood sugar into the cells of our bodies, we literally could starve to death, okay? Because the blood sugar will not go where it needs to go. It will literally go out of the system. The kidney will process that and you will urinate, and basically all that food you've eaten that has turned to blood sugar will be urinated out of the body, and someone can literally starve to death that way. Only 5 to 10% of diabetics suffer from type 1 diabetes. So that's not the majority of the people. The majority of people who suffer from diabetes are type 2. And these are the faces for the type 1, which is 5 to 10% of the diabetic. Usually they're young people. Okay, and I just want to stick a pin there and tell you that many times it is the pancreas is attacked, and or there's an autoimmune problem that kills the pancreas, and because of this the pancreas can't work anymore, and this is why these people have to be on insulin for the rest of their lives. I also want to let you know that research has found that dairy products dairy products can be something that that can actually initiate an autoimmune problem, especially children getting milk instead of their mother's milk, they're getting cow's milk. So we need to be careful with the dairy. Dairy is something that can actually precipitate an autoimmune problem. Okay, let's go on to type 2 diabetics, which is where most of the diabetics are. Type 2 diabetes is considered adult onset diabetes. These people are usually insulin resistant. They have insulin, but their body resists the insulin that they have. Their body makes all the insulin they need, but for some reason it is not doing its work and getting the blood sugar into the cells where it belongs. Obesity is the greatest risk factor for type 2 diabetes. 90% of all diabetics have type 2 diabetes, and most of them are overweight. So this is the face of diabetes, okay? Adult diabetes or obesity is the biggest risk factor for diabetes, for type 2 diabetes. And that's because we're eating our way to chronic disease. So we need to be careful with what we're eating. And we need to be careful too, because our children are coming up the same way, because childhood obesity is a big problem in our country. And most of the times, childhood obesity leads to adult obesity too. And you can see what's causing it. It's eating, and the only exercise these children are getting is pushing a button. So we can see that we need to change this scenario. Now, what are the warning signs of diabetes? Well, excessive thirst. You get thirsty a lot. So some of you who are trying to prevent, if there's a time when you are thirsty all the time and it's not really that hot, you're going to the bathroom to pee a lot, all of a sudden you're hungry all the time. If these are symptoms that you're experiencing, you need to go to your primary care doctor and have yourself checked, or get a simple blood test so that you will be able to determine whether diabetes is in your court. Here are the complications. And this is why we need to be careful, because diabetes actually impacts every single organ in our body. We end up with eye problems, and of course, it's the #1 cause of blindness, kidney damage, and one of the main causes of people ending up on dialysis, heart attack, and stroke. And we don't want any of these, so we would prefer to prevent them. Also, you need to know sexual impotence, ulcerative sores, because you end up with sores that cannot heal, and you end up at Dr. Monique's office because you're dealing with ulcers because of diabetes. Infections, amputations, breast and uterine cancers. So if you're one of those who have diabetes and you see a little sore on your feet, in fact, diabetics should always be checking their feet, because you don't know when things are happening, because It is the known fact that many diabetics can't feel very well because of the neuropathy that has taken place. And you need to be checking your feet to make sure all is well, so that you don't come up with a sore that has really gotten out of hand and maybe have to have your leg amputated. And this is what Dr. Mitchell can deal with before it gets out of hand, so it can save your limb. Well, major modifiable factors of diabetes. Well, we already talked about the overweight. Number 2, the midsection fat, not the belly fat. A sedentary lifestyle. You cannot be sitting down all day without moving. We have to get up and move. And why? Because if you have high blood sugar is your energy. If you walk and use up that energy, the blood sugar goes down. Makes a whole lot of sense. And of course, a healthy and unhealthy diet is also a major risk factor for diabetes. Okay? Having high blood pressure, having high triglycerides, that's the fats in your blood, having an abnormal cholesterol, and being a smoker are also modifiable risk factors. So what you can do, if these are some of your problems, you need to manage these problems too, because they can only cause diabetes to become worse. Okay, diabetes is linked to greater risk for heart disease, stroke, kidney failure, blindness, amputations. We have already said that, and dementia, believe it or not. 2 of the most powerful steps you can take toward preventing and treating diabetes are daily exercise and a high fiber diet. People, you gotta get up and you gotta move. That is one way to keep the circulation going to the limbs so that you can protect your limbs from damage. You got to get up and walk. Some people during COVID, when people had to stay indoors, I learned that you can walk around your yard. You can actually get out once the area is flat, once you have some nice shoes that can protect your feet, walk around your yard for about 30 minutes. I have learned to do that since COVID-19, and I still use my yard for exercise today. And now that may work for some people. Some people don't like going in circles. So whatever works for you is what you should do. Some of you may find an exercise tape and you walk the pounds away by using a tape. Some of you may want to walk to the beach, or if you have a nice park that you can use. But just be aware that safety is first. So you need to make sure that whatever you're doing is safe. And by all means, you got to put exercise in there, because if there's one thing that can make a hell of a difference in your lifestyle, it's exercise. In fact, there's a statement that says that exercise covers a multitude of sins. Whoa, sins catch up with you after a while, but exercise could prevent a lot of problems. So please, people, if you're not doing it yet, make sure you get some exercise, at least 30 minutes of exercise most days, at least 4 times a week. And for those who are trying to lose some weight, because it is a known fact that if you have diabetes and you lose 10 pounds, it could greatly impact your blood sugar and help you move to the area of managing your diabetes better. So get out there and exercise. If you want to lose the weight, you need to exercise at least 5 times a week. 3 times a week will not do it. 3 times a week is for maintenance. 5 times a week, if you lose 1 pound a week in 6 months, you could get 30 pounds off by losing 1 pound a week. That's something you can do. Most people can lose or see themselves losing 1 pound a week. So get to it and get your body in shape and prevent diabetes. Proper management of diabetes requires 1, a willingness to follow a management program. 2, an understanding of how food affects the blood sugar. 3, understanding the importance of exercise that we just talked about. And 4, proper monitoring of your blood sugar. You gotta know what your blood sugar is saying. You got to be checking your blood sugar. And I know a lot of people don't like doing that. They don't like sticking themselves to check their blood sugar. But if you have diabetes, you need to know what your blood sugar is doing, because your blood sugar could change with every meal you eat. So learn how to do it the easiest way. And I always tell people, if you're checking your blood sugar, use the sides of your finger. Don't stick yourself right in the middle of your finger, but use the pads of your finger. You would find that it would not hurt as much, because most of the nerve endings are in the tip of your finger. But if you use the pad, there's not a lot of nerve endings there. Therefore, it won't hurt as much. So those who have to stick themselves, try it. You'll see it works. Okay, this is the dietary face of diabetes. And see, person is overweight and eating a lot of fatty foods. Kentucky Fried Chicken and the works. We got to be careful with that. The dietary face of diabetes is a lot of saturated fats, fried foods, sweets, and refined grains, and of course, those sugary drinks. I just want you to know, those sugary drinks, when you use them, the body takes those sugary drinks and turn them into fat and stores it. It's not water, people. It is energy. If you take a 20-ounce bottle of Gombe Punch, you can get up to 25 teaspoons of sugar from that. And guess how many calories? You can get over 400 calories from that. I can actually eat 2 spoonfuls of grits, a spoonful of tuna, and an apple, a small apple, for almost the same amount of calories. You can get a whole meal in place of that Gombe Punch. But the balanced meal that you eat would be able to help your blood sugar, but that sugary drink is only going to push your blood sugar up. Not only that, it's going to pack on some fat, because the body takes that sugary drink, turns it into fat, and stores it as adipose. So be very careful about all these high fat, sugared up stuff that actually does not help with the weight, and it does not help with managing diabetes. So my question to you is, what are you eating? Gotta analyze what you're eating. Okay, hope for the diabetic. The keys to success is a high fiber plant-based diet, believe it or not, daily exercise, and water instead of calorie-rich drinks. And of course, we don't want to forget adequate sleep, because it's during the rest time that the body heals itself. Also, we need to manage the stress, because stress can send your blood sugar up. Okay, stress can send your blood pressure up. Stress can do a whole lot of damage. So we need to manage the stress. And guess what? When you, in managing the stress, exercise helps to decrease the stress level. So you need to have that exercise in there. Now, let's go to the plate. This is the plate. And if you know anything about the plate, half of your plate is supposed to be veggies, but notice what kind of veggies is it? It's non-starchy vegetables. Vegetables that will not do anything to your blood sugar. You could eat a whole lot of them, like the broccoli and the tossed salad and the spinach and the cauliflower. Those are your non-starchy vegetables that has lots of fiber, lots of nutrients, but it will not send your blood sugar up. They are literally called free foods for the diabetic. So if you wanted more food, you could eat more vegetables, okay? Then, if you notice the starch, the peas and rice that's on the plate, a quarter of your plate should be your starch. And of course, we know what our starches are: our potatoes, our pasta, our rice, our grits, all of our bread. They are our starches. But a quarter of our plate should be the starch. If it's bread, about 2 slices of bread would actually be what you would choose. And then the other quarter is your protein. Protein is very important in balancing and keeping the blood sugar under control. And then you could eat a piece of fruit and, of course, plenty of water. Notice there's no sugary drink in this balanced meal. Now, the way the diabetic has to eat is the way that everybody should be eating. Everybody should be eating balanced meals. Now, here is where it is very important. If you are a diabetic and you eat like the typical Bahamian, where the whole plate is full of rice, and then you have a piece of macaroni and cheese on top of that, and then you have a scoop of potato salad also in the mix, and some people even throw a piece of corn in there. All of that plate is starch. And then you put a big piece of fatty chicken on top of that. And then when you look around, where's the vegetables? There's absolutely no vegetables. People, that is the recipe for high blood sugar, because all of that starch turns into blood sugar. And those starch make a lot of blood sugar, okay? I want you to know the carbs are your foods that make blood sugar. Now, vegetables are carbs, the starchy foods are carbs, and fruit are carbs. But when it comes to the amount of blood sugar, the starchy food make the most blood sugar, the starchy food and the fruit. And the vegetable carbs make hardly any blood sugar. What the vegetables have is lots of vitamins, lots of minerals, lots of water, and nutrients. So we can always eat lots of that. Now, all of the carbs, this is very important, take about a half an hour to digest. They will only hold you for 2 hours, okay? And then they're gone. That's why when people eat a breakfast in the morning, here's what the typical Bahamian would eat for breakfast: oatmeal, which is a very good starch. It's a grain. And then they will have maybe a banana with it, okay, which is a very good fruit. But that's all they eat with a little bit of milk. Now, let's analyze that. The milk turns 100% of it turns to blood sugar. The oatmeal, 100% of it turns to blood sugar. And the fruit, 100% of that turns to blood sugar. So if you are diabetic and you eat that combination, your blood sugar is going up. It has no other choice, because all you did was eat a lot of blood sugar. That is not a balanced plate. A balanced plate must have protein in the mix. Let me tell you the difference. Proteins take 3.5 hours to digest, and it holds you for 5 hours. Compare that with your carbs. That only takes a half an hour to digest and hold you for only 2 hours. Now, here's what happened with a person who is trying to lose weight. Maybe they're not a diabetic, but they're trying to lose weight. If they eat that oatmeal and that fruit with a little bit of milk for breakfast, in 2 hours, they're hungry. And you hear a lot of people say, well, Jack, oatmeal give me the weakness. It has nothing to do with the oatmeal. It has everything to do with the fact that the meal wasn't balanced. What could you add to that oatmeal and fruit to make that balance so that your blood sugar will not go spiking up and you will not be hungry in 2 hours? You need to add maybe some nuts. If you don't have any nuts, then use a boiled egg. If you're a person who have to watch your cholesterol, then take the yolk out of that egg and use 2 egg whites in place of that 1 egg with yolk. And whether it's the egg, whether it is the nuts, and make sure it's only a handful of nuts, because some people go crazy about the nuts. They was like, this is healthy stuff. And nuts today come in bags. One time ago, nuts were in shells. So we need to be very careful with the amount. They're powerful food. And God put them in shells so you won't get too many. But some of us take the bag of nuts and we snack on them all day. If you're trying to lose weight, you're just going to gain weight snacking on nuts, because nuts, although it's a protein, it's also classified as fat. And 2 halves of a walnut, just 2 halves of a walnut, that's 1 walnut, has the same amount of fat as a teaspoon of butter. So be careful, people who are trying to lose weight and who are snacking on nuts. I'll tell you right now, don't ever snack on nuts. You can use nuts as a protein in place of meat in your meal, and it'll be fine, because nuts are healthy food. They're good for the brain and good for the heart, but too many nuts is not good for any of us, okay? So here, let's looking at our oatmeal and banana and meal. We're adding the nuts, and just by adding a handful of nuts and only what holds in the palm of your hand, it will actually extend that meal for 5 hours. You will not be hungry for 5 hours. Not only that, if you're a diabetic and you have a problem with your blood sugar, it will help to level off that blood sugar, and the blood sugar will not go spiking out of existence. And the danger of the diabetics, when the meal is not balanced, once they have their blood sugar up first thing in the morning, that's the end for the blood sugar for the day. Most likely, that blood sugar is going to stay up for the rest of the day, and they're going to have to fight to get that blood sugar down. So don't push your blood sugar up first thing in the morning by not eating a balanced meal. And guess what? It doesn't matter how you eat that balance, as long as it's balanced. You could eat peas and rice and a meal just like this in the morning. The body really doesn't care what you eat as long as it's balanced, because as far as the body is concerned, as soon as the food gets down here, all the body knows is starch, protein, fruit, vegetable, and it works accordingly. So you can eat peas and rice in the morning. Actually, it's a good start to your day because it'll hold you for a long time. So I eat dinner foods for breakfast sometimes. Okay. Components. Now I've talked all about this, and this is just review here. 4 components for balance. There's 4 components that you need for balance. A quart of your plate should be your starches, and I have the list of things that are starchy that you can use. A quart of your plate should be protein, and that's your fish, chicken, your meats, your beans. Don't forget the beans. In fact, it is found that diabetics do better with beans. And the reason for that is beans are very high in fiber. In fact, it's the one food that has the highest amount of fiber of any other food. And because of the amount of fiber in the beans, it helps to balance the blood sugar. So diabetics, eat beans. Eat beans. And those who are not diabetic, eat beans, because what it does, it actually keeps things moving through the GI because of the fiber, so that you're not constipated. And another big problem that Bahamians have is the fact that colon cancer is the second biggest cancer causer in this country. You have prostate and then colon cancer for the men. You have breast cancer and then colon cancer for the women. So we need to do what we can to keep things moving through the GI so that we're not constipated, so that we have fiber to clean our colon, so that things would move out so that we don't poison our system. Okay, going back to my 4 components of balanced eating. A quarter of your plate is supposed to be the proteins, and you can see what the proteins are. Half of your plate is supposed to be your vegetables, and you know now that they're not just any vegetables, they're your non-starchy vegetables. So in this grouping, you cannot have corn, and you cannot have sweet potato and cassava. You treat them like starch. So if you want sweet potato, cassava, and pumpkin, you treat them as starch. You eat them with your starchy foods, okay? I'm not telling you can't have them. You just treat them as starch, okay? And then, of course, you could have a fruit for dessert and water preferably than drinks. Actually, balance have 3 phases. You could eat starch, protein, and a fruit, and that's balance. Or you could eat starch, protein, vegetables, that's also balance. Or you can eat starch, protein, fruit, and vegetables, and that's also balance. So get it together, because you're going to be better off eating balance. Okay, nutrients work as a team. You have your carbs, your proteins, you have your fats, you have your minerals and vitamins that's in the vegetables, and of course you have water, and they work together as a team. So you want to make sure this team is functioning well in your diet, and make sure you get all the components. So all those people who like to get a whole lot of carbs and a whole lot of fat from your meats and protein, and no vegetables, so hardly any minerals and vitamins, and you don't hardly drink water, we need to get it together, because these are the things that keep us well. When meals are not balanced, the blood sugar can go up or down. Fat calories usually goes up. Nutrients are usually lacking, and you're hungry in 2 hours. And usually you eat more, because if you're snacking in between because you're hungry, you're going to eat more, and you're just going to continuously push those blood sugar up. Diabetics do well on actually 2 to 3 meals a day. And these 2 to 3 meals a day need to be well spaced. Example, you should have at least 4.5 to 5 hours between the meal. What it does is, since it takes about 3.5 hours for the body to break down the proteins, if you eat every 4.5 to 5 hours, you allow the body to take care of 1 meal and 1 set of blood sugar before another set of blood sugar come on stream. And if you're a person who is snacking all over the place, well, you had your meal, 2 hours later, down the hatch comes some carb, because usually you're snacking on some kind of carb. Then you have blood sugar on top of blood sugar. It's going to be very difficult to keep that blood sugar under control, because you're eating too often. But if you're not balanced, it's going to force you to eat more because you're hungry. So people, again, get those meals balanced. They will hold you for 5 hours, 4.5 to 5 hours, and you would find, if you're a diabetic, your blood sugar would stay on an even keel, and you wouldn't have any problem with the spiking of your blood sugar. And remember too, diabetics, if you're diabetic, watch out for those sugary drinks. Definitely juice is not the best thing, but diabetics can drink a little juice, but the amount they should drink is only 4 ounces to replace a fruit. But think now, God made fruit. God never made juice. Juice, they squeeze the juice, the liquid out, and they throw away the fiber. And it's the fiber that slows down the blood sugar. So if you choose to eat an apple or an orange in place of drinking that half a cup of juice, people, your blood sugar will work much better. So if you never drink juice again in your life, you wouldn't be any worse off because God never made juice. He made fruit. Okay. Now, here's a test for you. Ha! Is this a balanced meal, people? Let me know. Is it balanced? Can anyone tell me? Well, maybe you can't open up your mic to tell me, but number one, does it have starch? Oh, yes, it does, because there's potatoes there, maybe a little too much. Does it have protein? A lot of protein. I think at least meat protein for at least 2 meals, sometimes at least 3 meals, you can make this protein. Does it have vegetables? No, it has no vegetables. Does it have fruit? No, there's no fruit. So is it balanced? Is 3 components here? No, it's only 2 components, and it's very starchy there, and it's very high on the protein. So what can we do to fix it? Anyone? Okay. Well, let me answer my own question. What? Say that again?
We need to add vegetables to the meal and the fruit.
Yes, we do need to add vegetables to it. Is there, and so you could get a nice tossed salad, and that's fine because you could eat that. And that really is not going to do anything to your blood sugar, and it's not going to put weight on you unless you drench it with salad dressing. But is there something else you need to do? Anyone else?
Take out some of the protein and the starch.
That's right. You need to take out some of the protein and maybe one piece of those potatoes, right? And what you can do, if you really want that, save it for the next meal. It doesn't mean you can't eat it. It just means you don't eat all one time. So you're adding a nice salad. You're using half of that you have there. Can you have a fruit with that too? Yes, you can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, you can have a fruit with that. Now, this is what we call sauce in the Bahamas, but there is absolutely no reason that you can't make your own sauce and add some carrots and other non-starchy vegetables to your sauce. Who says that it can't have those things? You can actually make it healthier by how you fix it, okay? Here's another one. Is that a balanced meal? Look at it. Tell me, is there starch in it? Yes.
Yes.
The corn and the potato is right there. Is there vegetables?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. There's carrots and celery and all kinds of things. Is there protein in it?
Yes, meat.
Yes, there's meat, or there's chicken there, or you could turn this, you can actually make this a split pea soup, and the split pea would be protein, so there will be protein. This can be either vegetarian or a meat soup, okay? And so does it have the 3 components that make up a balanced meal?
Yes.
Yes, it does. And can you add anything to it?
How about
On
a
the
green
side,
salad?
fruit.
Yes, you could get a bowl of salad. You could add that too, because salads are free, okay? And to the diabetic and to anyone, you can always eat salad. Just don't drench, just drizzle, okay? The salad dressing. Very good. Okay, what about this one? This is a typical Bahamian meal. Is this balanced?
Too much starch.
Nope.
Too much starch, because I can look on this plate. I see plantain, which is starch. I see macaroni, which is starch. I see rice, which is starch. That's a lot of starch. Now, people tell me, how would you fix it?
Take off some of the starch,
Okay.
some
Remove
protein,
the,
and
remove the macaroni.
Did I hear someone say take off the macaroni?
Yes.
Okay, some people might want macaroni and rice. If you did, all you have to do is half it, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Half
take a thin slice of the
and rice.
macaroni.
That's
Mhm.
right. Save half for the next meal. And ladies, you could cut that fish in half. You know, ain't nothing wrong
Yes.
with that.
That is
Maybe for a
huge.
man, you can use the whole thing. But for the ladies, you could cut that in half. And what would you add to it?
so salad or broccoli
We
or
could have like a carrot salad or
Right. You can actually now add some vegetables and make sure you get a half of your plate with veggies, whether it's cooked vegetables and raw vegetables. You can have both, and you will be well on your way for a balanced meal. And you don't have to feel bad, because if you want the rest of that food, you can eat it at another meal. People, can we add anything else to this? Yes, if you add your salad, you
could
can
add some
actually have a
nuts.
piece of fruit. Can't you have a piece of fruit?
Yes. And
Yes,
don't
you can
forget
have a piece
water.
of fruit. Yes, once you have those starches, you could have a piece of fruit. And people, think about that. You've halved your starches, you've added some vegetables, you halved the fish, you added the vegetables, and if you wanted tossed salad, you can add more of that, and you have a piece of fruit. That's plenty food. But
And
it's
don't
what,
forget the water.
and don't forget the water. And it's what you eat and your combination. That's the key. And if we can keep it balanced, we're well on the way to keeping our blood sugar under control. Hope for the diabetic. Keys to success. Connect with others. Maybe you need someone to kind of help you. Maybe you need to come and see your dietitian. Okay. The next thing, you could trust God. Pray and ask him what you can do, and he will lead you as to what you should do. You need to stay focused. You know what you need to do. Do not get sidetracked by, anyone. Sometimes even when you work in these offices, some of us are planning to follow a healthy lifestyle, and we decide we're not going to eat this or that. And somebody come into that office with a whole bunch of things that we like to eat. And before you know it, we're eating. We need to really pray, and we need to stay focused so that we don't sink our ship. Also, we want to keep at it, and we don't need to give up. If we fall and tumble down and made a mistake this time, you don't just kind of say, oh, give up. No, you get up, shake off yourself, and move on again. Behavior change does not happen overnight. Behavior change is a process. Just like the baby falls down many times before he is able to walk, you're changing your lifestyle. Sometimes you're going to fall, but the key is you don't stay down. You get up and you move on. And finally, one of these days,
Somebody drop us and I got in.
you will be doing what you need to do. And before you know it, you're healthier and you're happier. And that's what God would have for you. My recommendation is pray. Some people need a power beyond themselves to implement and maintain health behavior change. There's a lot of scholarly articles and research on religiosity and health and how it empowers people. Religiosity may promote social support, healthy lifestyle, and other psychosocial factors are associated with better life outcomes. So people, learn to pray. God can help you. And remember, you can do all things through Christ who gives you the strength and the power to do it. And I hope that you have learned a lot from what I have presented. And this is my last slide. And I don't know if anyone has any questions. I will be happy to answer those questions. Back to you, Monique.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Hanna. That was wonderful, a wonderful review. And we have some questions in the chat. Very enlightening and inspiring presentation, encouraging us to remember that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, and to always, it was good to review the meal plan and how to eat. And I see everybody hello?
Good night, you taking questions? Doctor, you're muted. Good night. I joined kind of late. I just wanted to find out about watermelon juice.
Night was a night. Hello, can you hear me?
No, we ain't here.
Yes.
I wanted to find out.
Yes, we can hear
You can hear me?
Yes.
Doctor, you're taking
Okay,
questions?
all right. We had a little yes, we're taking questions. Our electricity just went off. So
okay. But you could still ask a question. If you could hear me, I just wanted to find out some more about watermelon juice. I joined kind of late, so I wasn't able to get through.
okay, that one's dead. Okay, so if anybody has a question, because I cannot see the chat anymore, because that that chat is gone because of the dip in the and as I look through the chat, you can just ask your question. Excellent presentation, very inspiring presentation. I see a question here. It says, isn't the digestion of fruit slowed down when eaten alongside protein? So Doctor, I will try to answer the question. Oh, I see her. She's back now. So I will admit her and she'll be able to answer the question. So we know that when eating a balanced meal and there's protein in the meal, from her presentation, it does tell us that the length of time that the food that you're not hungry is extended. And so the digestion or the process, the time it takes can definitely be extended because of the protein in the meal. Appreciate this presentation having been diagnosed as pre-diabetic. So definitely, Idamae can be found at Better Living Health Center. And like she said, she also does individual and group counseling. So she's available to provide more counseling or more assistance if you need it. Is orange juice with pulp healthier? Orange juice with pulp. So we're gonna, Dr. Ida, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna ask the question and then you can, yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. Someone is
Okay. Okay. The
orange
question,
juice with pulp is healthier than the orange juice without it.
well, I guess so, but guess what? The orange is better without just the juice. Now, if you're diabetic and your insulin drops or your blood sugar drops and you're on insulin, it's good to have a little bit of juice around so that you can actually bring your blood sugar back up. But if you're a person who had to use a little juice to bring that blood sugar back up, you better get to food as soon as possible. And you need to make sure you have some protein in that meal to hold the blood sugar, or else with that little bit of juice, it's going to drop down again because juice doesn't have a lot of holding power. But I would still say it's better to eat fruit than the juice. And if you're drinking that juice pulp, make sure it's only 4 ounces.
Okay, excellent. So we have a question here. I'm going to send this to you again. So isn't the digestion of fruit slow down when eating alongside protein?
The digestion of fruits, yes, because see, when you have the protein and the fiber, as you're eating, it automatically slow everything down. And so that meal lasts you for 5 hours. Whereas if you eat that fruit or any starchy carb by itself, it all breaks down in half an hour, and it has the tendency for pushing your blood sugar up because it all digests the blood sugar.
Okay, we have another question. It says, Dr. Ida, I heard in your presentation, you did cover the fact that if you're gonna make a lifestyle change, persons need to go to their primary care doctor and get a checkup first to make sure that they're not, doing anything that will cause them more damage. But what lifestyle recommendation? And you can start with a lifestyle checkup. So tell us a little bit more on how you would do a lifestyle checkup, and then what are some things that persons can put in place to begin a lifestyle change?
Okay. First, you need to, it'll be a very good thing to go to your primary care physician to check up on things like diabetes, blood sugar, see if your blood sugar is normal, see if your cholesterol is normal, see if, check to make sure that your weight is in normal range. And, people come all the time and they are obese or they're overweight. They think they're fine. But there is a weight for height, and you need to be within your range, because if you're not in your range, you are actually going to put yourself at risk for diabetes and many of these chronic diseases. When you have checked these things and your physician can help you with that, or if you go to health fair and you check some of these numbers like blood sugar, cholesterol, it kind of gives you an idea of where you are. Then if you need to see a dietitian to get you on target for a healthy eating, you can do that. First, you need to set goals, and you can be able to set goals. Number one, I would make sure I put exercise in my program because exercise does cover a multitude of sins. And once you're exercising, of course, if you are a person who is a heart patient, you do need to clear yourself for exercise with physician, okay? And once you're cleared for exercise, if you are a heart patient, then get your moderate exercise going to help you well on the way to a healthier lifestyle. Then you need to start learning how to eat properly. And you need to put in there all these lifestyle habits, like what I call New Start, good nutrition, exercise, drinking enough water, getting a little bit of sunlight when you walk, okay? Being temperate in what you're doing, meaning you're not going to overdo anything, okay? And getting enough rest and making sure you get fresh air. And last but not least, trust in divine power to help you to do all of these. And I think you will be well on the way to a healthy lifestyle. Whatever your concern is and whatever you're slipping up on, then set some goals, some small doable goals, and stick with it by the grace of God.
Amen. Amen. So awesome, awesome, awesome advice. We did not get an opportunity to play the video, but what I'm going to do is, oh boy, I'm going to put the video up on my Facebook page. Also, we'll put the video on our YouTube channel, and it's an excellent video of Dr. Hanna explaining the 4-day cleanse, which is recommended for the beginning of any lifestyle change. Maybe Dr. Hanna, you could just give us the 4 days, what those days are, so that persons, if they're interested, they could probably reach out or to you or to me, and then we can give them more details. But just give us the highlights on the 4 days of the cleanse to begin a lifestyle change.
Okay, well, the first day you want to, that's your day to prepare, okay? It's not good to jump into a 4-day cleanse without preparing. And then then you can actually eat during the first day, you can eat just fruit, okay? Now, diabetics have to be a little careful about eating just fruit because that can send your blood sugar up. But if you eat about 2 or 3 pieces of fruit and you get a little handful of nuts, it can work because you got some protein in there. For the rest of us who are not diabetics, you can get away with 2 or 3 servings of fruit. Then the second day is your vegetable day. Okay, well, actually, back up. The second day is your fast day. You can get herbal teas, okay, and you can get like fever grass, or you can get pear leaf for ladies who are having problems, hormonal problems. You could get raspberry tea. But people, you don't put no sugar in this tea, okay? You're drinking these herbal teas by themselves, and you can just drink tea all day. Now, there are some people who cannot fast a whole day. If you only can fast half a day, then work with the half a day. If you're one of those who could go the whole day with just drinking herbal teas as a cleanse, you can do that, okay? The diabetic, if you're on insulin, that might not be a very good idea because that would be a problem for you. So you might want to actually do another fruit, a nut day. Is that all right? Then the third day is your vegetable day. So what you do, you get raw, non-starchy vegetables, okay? You can use the raw vegetable, you could use the cooked vegetables, but it has to be the non-starchy. So you could get a big salad for lunch. In the morning, you could get some steamed vegetables, and in the evening, you could actually get a combination of the two, okay? And so that's your vegetable day. It's gonna give some nutrients and so forth. The diabetic, this will be a partial fast for you too. And if you're on insulin, just be careful, because you don't want, if you're using insulin, of course, you got to be careful because you'll pull your blood sugar down. So you may want to throw a few nuts in there. And then the last day of the 4-day cleanse, you make a pot of vegetable broth. This is the time when you could put all your starchy vegetables in there, your non-starchy vegetables. If you're not hypertensive, you could put a little seasoning in there, a little salt. You can put all your herbal seasonings in there. And what you do, you steam them down until they're tender, and you pour off all the liquid and you drink the liquid all day, okay? And what it does, it actually adds minerals and a lot of healthy stuff to nutrients to your system, and it is a very good cleanse to cleanse your system. If you want to use something like
Something like what?
I think I saw a little bit. Can you mean?
Okay. I think we're having a little technical difficulties again. I see there's one other question in the chat for Ida, for Dr. Ida. I will, hopefully she comes back. We'll have that question for her. I see two questions in the chat that are very similar. I will try to answer those questions, and then we'll.
I'm back.
Okay,
can you hear me?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes,
Okay,
we
what
can
was
hear
the
you now.
question?
Okay, this question in the chat says, I tend to snack on nuts for some time, almonds or walnuts, mixed with sultanas, in addition to fruits such as bananas, watermelon, etc. What other suggestions you can make for instead of the peanuts?
Okay. Like I said before, snacking on nuts, especially if you're trying to lose weight, is not a very good idea because it's very high in fat and you will gain a lot of weight from that. But if you have a, see, when you're eating balanced meals, you're not hungry a lot. You're able to hold out for 4.5, 5 hours. But if you're not eating balanced, you will be tempted to snack. So I would suggest that you eat your balanced meals and allow 4.5 to 5 hours in between and see if you can actually make it like that. However, if you have to have a snack, I would say there are some again.
Go
Can
ahead.
you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
there
you
are
now.
some diabetics. There are some diabetics that are on insulin. They have to be careful. Maybe they may need a snack, and that snack I would say should be maybe a half a sandwich, maybe a starch and a protein. And then they would be able to maybe use a few nuts there in along with a fruit. That's the same thing as a half of a sandwich. So you can maybe use that if you're on insulin and you need something to cover you so your blood sugar doesn't drop. But if you're eating balanced as a diabetic and you're on insulin, what you need to do is watch your blood sugar, check it often, and maybe you need to adjust your insulin, because once you start eating properly and balanced, you will find that your blood sugar will start dropping. And what that means, you need to go to your doctor and see if he can help you to adjust your insulin, because maybe you don't need as much insulin because your body is now doing what it should be doing because you're eating more balanced. Okay. If you, for those who are not diabetic, what you can do for a snack is eat vegetables. Remember, vegetables are free. They're not going to do anything to your weight. So if you want, you could eat a vegetable, or if you have to, you can eat a fruit. Fruit or vegetable is another way to go. Vegetables, especially for diabetic, fruit for those who are not diabetic, if you have to have a snack.
As well. Okay, we have another, I think it's going to be our last question. We have 2 questions in the chat are basically asking about the same thing. It says, what will cause numbness and tingling in the feet? And then what can also lead to blindness? So we know that high blood sugar, persistent high blood sugar in persons with diabetes can actually lead to all the complications that occur, including the neuropathy that is demonstrated, that is classic by the symptomatic by the numbness, tingling, and burning in the feet. And then also the high blood sugar damages the blood vessels that actually can cause the blindness and all the other complications that we see. So high blood sugar is the cause of that numbness, tingling, and burning in the feet because of the neuropathy. And then it also damages the blood vessels that can eventually lead to blindness. So we can see that the whole purpose of this meeting and other meetings like this is to teach persons about these complications and how to prevent them. And we are very, very pleased that Dr. Hanna was able to be with us tonight. I apologize for the myriad of technical difficulties we've had tonight, but we're very pleased that you are here and that most of you are still here at this hour. We'd like to also say that, yes, someone in the chat, Ms. James, reminded us that this flyer is shared in the region. So yes, this is a meeting is at 7:30 Eastern time, and we will definitely put that on the flyer next time, so persons from other regions would know that it's 7:30 Eastern and they can govern themselves accordingly. So definitely we are pleased that you are here. We saw some persons from Trinidad and other places. So we are definitely very pleased that you are here to join us and to participate. Guyana, I see United States, different islands in the Bahamas, Exuma, Eleuthera, Bimini, of course, New Providence, Grand Bahama. So we're very, very pleased that you're all here. I must commend everybody. This is our fastest meeting that we've ever got to capacity. When I joined at about 15 minutes to about 7:15, we were already at capacity of 100. So we're very pleased that all of you are here. Now, our next meeting, which is going to be, usually we meet on the 2nd Thursday of every month. But next month in March, we will actually be meeting on the 1st Thursday, because we will be hosting here in the Bahamas, we will be hosting a team from Barry University that will be actually doing our presentation for us, and they will be here the 1st week in March. So we will allow them to conduct the meeting. And so we're inviting you back. That will be the 7th of March, I think, the Thursday, the 7th of March. And we're very excited because they will be here providing free podiatry care to hundreds of Bahamians, as well as surgery to anybody who would like to have it. If you are interested and the flyers will be coming out on Monday, but if you're interested and you want to receive services, you can call any of our government clinics, South Beach, Elizabeth Estate, Fleming Street off Flamingo Gardens, and they can make an appointment for you, or you can, on Monday, you can call the appointment number, which is 827-3338. So we'll have that in social media and everywhere. You can also call my office, which is 242-605-3668. That is Family Foot Center, to get more information. So you'll be hearing a lot more about this. We'll be sending it out in the chat as well, so persons will be able to get that information. So thank you all so much for being here and staying to the end. Dr. Hanna, you did an awesome job as usual. Very clear, very inspirational. In the chat, everybody is saying thank you and excellent presentation. Yes, so the presentation will be, it is recorded, and it's on our Facebook page as well as on our website. It will be uploaded to the website by tomorrow, and also our YouTube channel, Feet, F-E-E-T, the number 4, Life, L-I-F-E, 242. And that's the name of the YouTube channel, and that will actually be done. Yes, we're working on expanding the capacity, so we'll be doing that. Yes, the recording will be here. For those persons who came on late, you can actually go to the YouTube channel or to our website tomorrow, and you can see the recording, so that you'll be able to watch the entire program. So I'm not sure if Elder Gardner is still on, but we would like to invite him to give us our closing prayer as we leave. And we just want to thank God, because I know I'm in darkness, and I'm sure Idamae is probably, Dr. Ida is probably in darkness as well. So I honestly don't know how this meeting is still going. I don't know how the meeting is still going, because it's still recording and it's still broadcasting, and we have no internet and basically only battery.
That's God. That's God.
That's it. That's it. So we want to ask, I don't know if Elder Ida or Elder Linden is still on with us. He can give us our closing prayer. Did he get bumped off? You see him? Okay. Well, I don't see him. I don't see him. So we're gonna ask Elder Mitchell to come and give us our closing prayer. And so he's gonna come at this time. Thank you very much for all the commendations. It said it's a very beneficial meeting, very educational. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for being here, and our closing prayer.
Good evening, everybody. Let us pray. Father, thank you for this opportunity that we have to learn more about bodies you've given us and how to take care of them. Sometimes in the hustle and bustle of the modern world and the new technology and the new ideas, we get caught up in doing things that are fun and that are pleasing and titillating even, but that are not healthy for us. Thank you for letting us learn some more. Give us the strength now and the willpower to put these things into action, that we can take care of the bodies and minds that you have given us. Please give us a good night, a good rest. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. And good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Have a blessed night.
Thank you.
Good night. Wonderful presentation.
Good night.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Sweet sleep. Excellent presentation.
Thank you. Good night. Good night.